My name is Ruth Road, and I've been involved with the Alpine Club since 1967. I became the Loyalsock Trail co-chairman in 1983, and then later on I became the chairman. And it is now 2014. The Loyalsock Trail is a wilderness hiking trail. It was established by Boy Scout Explorer Post 110 in 1951. And this trail is an end-to-end trail from Route 87 to Route 220. And it is 59.21 miles. The stream, the Loyalsock Creek, which in the Indian name was Lossiquick, and that meant Middle Creek because it flowed into the west branch of the Susquehanna River between Lycoming Creek and Muncie Creek. So the trail was called the Loyalsock Trail because most of it is in the Loyalsock Creek watershed. The Native American Indians made paths. Later, settlers made roads on their paths. And the Loyalsock Trail does follow the Towanda path that the Indians had between the two branches of the Susquehanna River. I like the Loyalsock Trail because, yes, it is wilderness, and yes, there's a lot of history along it. We had narrow gauge logging railroad grades as well as standard gauge logging grades. Late 1700s and through the 1800s, there were large virgin timber here that could be cut. And people had their own family sawmills, which were water-powered, and they used a sash saw that went up and down. They needed tall timbers for sailing ships, so they cut the white pine because it grew rather straight, and they used water transportation to get it into the Chesapeake Bay, into the Baltimore area for building ships. The logging here probably ended, I would say, late 20s, early 30s. They had cut the trees, so they've taken away their resource that they were using to make money. That ended the logging business when they harvested all of it. So now they have better timber management. They don't cut all the trees and do clear cut. They leave trees for seeding. They plant trees. The CCC camp, the Conservation Corps, when they came into operation in the 30s, they planted trees and they tried to rectify a lot of the scars made by the timber industry. The people in the CCC camps consisted of men that were unemployed, especially young men that were unemployed due to the Depression. And the CCC camps were operated by the military, the Army, so there were Army officers there to run the camp, and the state forest employees operated the equipment or had the men do what they wanted them to do out in the woods. I really don't have any numbers. I do have some pictures. There were group pictures taken of these men. They also had sports, and they competed with other camps like baseball and boxing. And they had healthy, good food to eat. And they also helped with fighting forest fires, and they also built fire towers and telephone communication lines for those towers. So CCC camps were in operation, and the Loyalsock Trail passes near 3 of them. Those camps built a lot of forestry roads in the Loyalsock State Forest. Camp 95 built cabins, picnic pavilions, and did stonework along the swimming area at World's End State Park. The regions of Pennsylvania from Lake Erie to Philadelphia are the Erie Coastal Plain, the Allegheny High Plateau, Ridge and Valley, the Piedmont, and the Atlantic Coastal Plain in the Philadelphia area. The Loyalsock Trail is located on the Allegheny High Plateau area. The first section of the trail is what we call the front of the Allegheny High Plateau, which is meaning it's the southern edge of the high plateau. And from there you're looking out over the beginning of the Ridge and Valley area. And our Allegheny front is overlooking the hills you see between there and the mountain behind South Williamsport, which is the beginning of the Ridge and Valley. Thus, the thing you find in the Loyalsock Trail, due to being on the Allegheny High Plateau, are waterfalls. The plateau has been dissected by streams and all their tributaries. And the waterfalls come off of the bedrock of the stream and create many waterfalls. Well, I'm from the old school. I've always been interested in talking to the older people, and it's been very much fun to me to hear them tell about these stories. I knew a gentleman who took me around and showed me, even by hiking, waterfalls I never knew exist because as a child this man lived in lumber camps. I am not a person that has the internet. I'm not a person that has all the technology. I am a person that wants life simple. And I am really involved and very busy having a simple life without television and all the interruptions of cell phones and whatever. I was an elementary school teacher for 31 years. I taught 25 years in 3rd grade and 6 years in 4th grade in the Williamsport School District. My feeling is about knowledge of the history of the area. The old-time folks have been leaving us. We have a young generation who I think does not really become very interested in the history of the area because they're a new group that's into technology and they were not raised with the old grandparents that remember all of this information. I've enjoyed all-day hikes. I was never a backpacker. I like flowers, wildflowers and plants and ferns, and so I'm always excited when I see something that's not the usual. There are two waterfalls on Ketchum Run that the trail passes by. One is called Lee's Falls, and that was named for the son of a gentleman involved with the Loyalsock Trail for a long time. And when the trail was relocated into Ketchum Run in 1973, he decided to name the waterfall below that one Road Falls after me. He surprised me with that. I'm really happy to have something out there named after me, but it was a surprise. I was with a group when I fell twice. I had gotten a different sense of touch in my left foot in '06, and that happened on a hike. I was okay when I started the hike, and when I got done, I had a different sense of touch in the left foot. So I was checked for a mini stroke, and that was not the cause. I never pursued that any further. I did have troubles with bounce sometimes, and I would fall. Fortunately, I was not hurt. 2009, I broke my first bone, and it was the small bone in the lower left leg down near the ankle. And then I fell a year later, and I tore my ACL and my MCL and my left knee.
All at once?
Yes. I'm fortunate that I did not hit a tree, and God spared my life. And I had no pain with the fall, except I found out I tore my ACL and my MCL in the left knee. I also found out that if I stood on it, my leg wanted to cave towards the inside due to the MCL being torn. But I was very fortunate to live. They carried me out of that. It was the Forksville Fire Department carried me down in a stretcher because they didn't know whether I had back break or what. So they brought a very stiff stretcher. They backed a truck up a forestry road to meet where the LT comes up out of Road Falls. They did a lowering of me over the ladder at Road Falls, so that was the last time I saw my waterfalls from the stretcher. I cannot hike anymore because of the things that have happened to me with the different sense of touch in the left foot. But I'm okay with that because now I can create hiking ideas for other people to hike because I have all my memories. And another thing, I'm not out there with the deer ticks. And I'm not anxious to be with deer ticks. And I'm not out there to see how things may be spoiled by pipelines and gas pads. I would like now to develop circuit hikes that can be used with the Loyalsock Trail and other state forest trails and state park trails, because it's nice to have one place as a trailhead to come back to and not have to shuttle cars. So I am trying to develop circuit hikes with World's End State Park being the trailhead.
You see it right there?
Yeah. See how these come off opposite?
Yeah.
Then the next set right here, they kind of turn on the limb a little bit. Like this is here and this is like this. And then up here.
Okay.
And then back here we have more fleshy stuff, more woody, and it's opposite. Sometimes one will come off and you can't tell. But when you're out in the woods, it's maples and it's ash and dogwood, flowering dogwood that are opposite.